What up, CB101? If y'all are there, guys, it took me 26 minutes literally to get this up and running. I'm not in my normal workstation, but I wanted to make sure that we came here and got you guys this info because if you guys are true hustlers, if you guys are true entrepreneurs, then you guys are definitely out there grinding today. So I want to honor you guys and make sure that you guys have your get your fix of your strategy and tactics. And I'm sorry I'm not in my lair. I'm at my parents' house. We slept over here last night, and so I wanted to make sure that they are inside eating breakfast, but I said I had to do something important, so I am here talking with you guys and talking about automating your client acquisition, because what's been really exciting is since this whole Facebook embargo thing has happened, we have signed almost five clients now since the embargoes happened, and this month alone we've really started to hit some real strides in terms of people that that we're bringing on, and I find that one of the things that was a result of is this process right here that I'm going to talk about, and that's really automating our client acquisition. So if anybody is here, let me know. If anybody is not, I'm wondering, we're just like not getting the normal reach that we normally get. Maybe my Facebook Lives really do suck. I'm not totally sure. I'm just kind of curious why we're not getting the normal reach. So guys, make sure you guys turn on these notifications. Make sure you guys are getting notifications of when we go live, so that this stuff, so that you get this stuff. While we're here, I want to actually, I'll send this out later because I think that'll be helpful to pick up some steam. So guys, let's talk about your automating your client acquisition. And I think that there's a few stages to it, right? So let's just jump right in. And by the way, if you guys have specific questions that you want to get into about this stuff, definitely throw those down there and let's talk about it. Let's see, what do I want? No, I don't want that. I want how do I get my goodies? Oh, nope, that's not it either. Here we go. I need to get a little goodies over here. So let's bring that bad boy over here, and let's talk about the first step of client acquisition, which we've been talking a lot recently, which is outreach. Okay, and that's outreach here. And what's really, really important about this first step is to do a lot of it. Okay, like a lot of people ask me, like one of their biggest challenges with getting started is just not doing enough outreach, right? Like when people get started, I tell them, okay, all right, so you're gonna build a business, you're gonna build an agency. All right, so what you need to do, your first thing that you need to do is you need to get a list of 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000 people that you can reach out to, right? You don't need to start with 5, you don't need to start with 15. That's not enough. The reality is that's just not enough to build a sufficient business. So the number one thing is you need to figure out how you're going to do this outreach. And we talked a lot about them, on other videos this week. So if you want to be tagged in those videos, okay, just drop an emoji and we will send you all. It's part of the agency accelerator, the $1 agency accelerator. We've been talking about email, we've been talking about Facebook client acquisition, but all of these other ways you can go organic, right? Or what you can do is you can go the paid advertising route. But the number one thing that you need to do is be actively reaching out to your clients, okay? People and agencies that only rely on inbound marketing are not going to do well, right? And so if you're like only relying on a blog, you're relying on a Facebook group, you're relying on your profile or something like that, that's not going to do it enough. Like even for me, if you think about it, our agency, the majority of my clients that I get are built or are gotten through active outreach. They're not actually like all of my like Facebook Lives and stuff like that actually aren't the main driver of our clients. What's the main driver of our clients is actually going out and reaching out to these people, actively, right? So systematically is what we're doing. So can you guys, let me know if you guys can hear me here. I'm going to check in and see if anybody is watching. So who's going to be the first commenter? We don't have any comments today. So let me know who's watching. And if you guys have questions about this stuff, let's talk about it. Because one thing that you can do is you can really, really focus on two things, right? You can focus on having this can be done one of two ways. The first way that it can be done is through obviously, is through people, right? You can actually have people do this. You could be that person, right? You could definitely be that person that's going out there and doing these outreach, and you can be the one contacting these people, calling them, messaging them. There's lots of different ways in which you can do it. Now, sorry, I'm kind of OCD here about my diagram because I don't want you to get I don't want you to screw it up. Okay. So the other thing that you can focus on, though, right? The other thing that you can focus on is you can focus on doing this through softwares, right? You can focus on doing this outreach through softwares. And that's what's great about it is you have a ton of tools and a ton of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a ton of things that you can leverage so you don't actually have to be the one actively sending these messages, right? That they're getting sent out, but you don't have to do it yourself. And so this is a really powerful thing that you can start to leverage in your business so that you can be focusing on higher level things. Ultimately, as a business owner, you want to make sure that you are focusing on the highest level tasks possible, right? That's your job. And so at the beginning, a lot of these things are going to be you, but ultimately you can give them and you can hand them off to softwares as well. So, interesting. I'm very, very curious about this. We've got two people on right now. So if you're watching right now, I want to make sure that this is really targeted to you. And then secondly, if you are catching this on the replay and you made it this far, is this something that you want to continue talking about? Because I don't have to keep talking about building agency, getting more clients. That's something that the group wanted to talk about. So I'm very, very curious about you guys. Maybe it's just a Sunday and you guys aren't out there hustling, but what is it that you guys really want to focus on? Is it that you want to focus on not getting clients, building other kind of bots? I'm curious. Is it the embargo that is kind of scaring you and you're not building bots a lot? If you are watching this and you've made it this far, either in the replay or you're one of the couple people who are on live, I'm genuinely curious because I make it a point to do these lives every day. But the reality is I want to make sure that I'm doing lives based on what people want to actually talk about, right? And if people don't want to talk about getting more clients, then we'll talk about something else. Because I don't know, I feel compelled to do these things, but the honest truth is that these things are very much they are not income producing activities is the reality. And so I want to make sure that they're valuable for you. And I don't do this because this is just what I want to talk about. This is just what I've surveyed. And this is what people have said that they want to talk about. But I'm sensing something different. So please, if you are watching this in the future on the replay, give me your response if this is something that you want more videos on, or if there's something that you prefer to talk about. Then let's talk about that stuff, because that would be better. So let's finish up this topic while we're here, okay? So we have this outreach, but then that's not the only aspect of this, right? What is another important part? Well, what's the next step, right? The next step of it is actually your qualification. And too many people miss this step. And this is a huge step so that you're both saving time and you're actually focusing on the right people and keeping your expectations here. Yo, DT, what's up, dude? Dan's always hustling. That's one of the reasons I partner with Dan, is Dan has no off days. And I don't think that you can when you're building a business. At least in the building phase, it's kind of an everyday kind of thing. So anyways, so there's this next aspect of qualifying. And one of the most frustrating things that you can do as a salesperson is to only be dealing with people who are not in your target market or who can't afford you, or basically if the only people who you are pitching are people who can't or don't want your services, well, then that's going to be obviously not good for your business. But more importantly, it's not good for your psyche. It's not good for your mindset. It's not good for your expectations. It's not good for any of that stuff. because in sales is like sports, right? It's like shooting, right? The NBA playoffs are going on right now, and there's just sometimes where people feel like they're in the groove, right? They have the confidence, they have the touch, and the ball just goes in the basket. And consequently, that happens in sales too, where people are just have the touch, they have the confidence, they feel like it's sales is all about feeling confident. So if you're constantly setting yourself up to fail, or you're constantly setting yourself up to, to be pitching people who don't actually want your stuff, it's going to be very damaging, not only to the bottom line of your business, but also to your mentality. So you want to make sure before you even start pitching that you start qualifying these people and you start to have a conversation with them to figure out if they're actually the right business owner to start talking to. So let me ask you this. If this is something that you guys think is valuable, or you guys think that this is helpful, give me a thumbs up emoji, because I can go into some of the different aspects of what you want to talk about. But for the nature of this call, there's a couple of other parts that we want to get into after the qualifying aspect. So if we don't want to talk about this, then I'll just move on to the next parts and keep the videos short. So one thing that's helped, and I got to give all the credit to Dan, because Dan is our lead salesperson for our agency right now. So it's like I can't take any of this credit. Sometimes I hop on at the end and but really Dan has been heading this up. And so one thing that we've really dialed into at the beginning of building our agency was making sure that they had a certain couple of things, right? There's a certain few things that they needed to have before we would even start pitching, because we didn't even want to spend the time talking to them if they didn't have these things, because we'd much rather spend the time working with other businesses, or we'd much rather spend the time reaching out, to new prospects or new potential clients, right? So the first thing that you got to make sure is that are they in a position to buy, right? Are they in a position to pay for it? Are they actually willing and able to invest whatever it is that your services cost? Because if they're not, that's the number one thing. It's not like, man, in business to consumer, it's like, all right, maybe you can get someone to splurge or something like that. But the reality is in B2B sales, if these people aren't already spending this kind of money on their businesses, you're much better off focusing on you're much better off leaving those people and going and finding the people who are already spending money. Think about how much money is spent on TV commercials, radio commercials, billboard ads, newspaper ads, what are the fucking bench ads, bus ads, all of these things, Yelp ads, right? Google ads, all of these other ways that people are currently spending money. Why not just go there, start there, and build a base off of those people? Or there's also another way to do that, which is making sure that they are a sizable business, right? So we came up in the real estate industry, and that was one of the first industries that we really had a ton of success with. And what we learned was that there are a ton of real estate agents who can't actually afford this stuff, right? There are a ton of real estate agents who can't actually afford marketing services because they're too new, they're just not at a place in their business where they're able to do that. So if they weren't shipping, right, I think we came to, it was like $5 million, right? If they weren't at least doing 5 million in, in sales every year, it just didn't make sense for us to be having that conversation. And similarly, there are lots of industries where there is a scale, right? Or there is a spectrum of people. And so you want to make sure that you're focusing on either the top end or the ones that can actually do it, that can actually afford it. So the next thing that you want to focus on, right, is are they actually into doing marketing stuff, right? Like that's the next decision that they need to have made is are they actually going to do marketing? A lot of businesses right now still don't think that they need to be spending time on marketing, right? And it's silly, but frankly, it's so true. So what I would share with you is to find the ones, right, that are actually either already spending, like I talked about it, or are open to it, because there are a lot of businesses who have kind of had this epiphany or had this awareness, or they've had this aha moment where they're like, I need to get on social media. I need to do this, right? I need, like they've been watching Gary Vee, or they saw a Facebook ad or something like that that told, convinced them. So there are a lot of businesses that are out there that aren't doing it yet, but have already been thinking about it. We've had a lot of the clients that we've ran into are like, okay, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but either I've started it, right, and I suck, or like I've been waiting because I know I suck, so I want to pay somebody to do it the right way. So just making sure that you're looking for those people and discussing like that, like talking about marketing. What do you guys do? What do you guys like to do? What have you done in the past? What's worked for you in the past? All of these kinds of questions help you to figure out whether or not you should actually even start pitching these people, right? Because I'm going to get out of here unless we have some questions, guys, because just because there's not a lot of people on the live videos. So if you guys have questions, this is for you. If you don't, I'm just going to talk to myself and rant and then get out of here. So I do these for you. So ask questions if you're here. So what else do we need to find out, though, after the qualifying aspect? Before we pitch them, we want to get a couple of other things, okay? There's a couple of other things we need to make sure that we figure out, okay? The next thing we need to figure out is who's the decision maker, right? Who's the decision maker that we need to be talking to? Because a lot of times, the person that we're talking to at first isn't often the only decision maker. And I guess it kind of makes sense in that way, right? Because if you're a business owner and you're the owner, you're going to have someone in place to talk to these people before you actually, before you get on the phone with them, right? However, so that's why we do the qualifying, because one of the worst things that you can do is to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours going through all of this stuff, all of your info, going through the pitches and the prices and stuff, only to find out that at the end, oh, well, actually, I need to talk to my manager, or I need to talk to my partner, or I talk to my whoever, right? So before you even get into that, it's best to get all of those people into one room or on one Zoom call at the beginning, or at least kind of know before you go into it. Like maybe if you know that there's going to be multiple pitches involved, well, okay, that's at least understand that, so you can cater and know that this pitch, I'm not just trying to pitch to sell right here. I'm trying to pitch so that I can get the next pitch, right? And it's kind of like, it's kind of like the boss. You've got to beat the boss. And sometimes with larger corporations, sometimes with larger organizations, there is this kind of hierarchy or this decision tree that you need to be able to work your way up. And usually those come with bigger contracts and come with bigger, obviously bigger projects, usually more money. However, with that being said, understanding who the decision makers are is a really, really important role. So give me some likes or loves if you guys thought that was helpful, because I find that Adele says don't waste time with non-decision makers. Molly says that she's going to go with telepathic learning. I appreciate you hanging out, Molly. I appreciate the love. I don't know if Facebook, we used to get like 30 people on on these lives in the group. And then now we're getting like 3. It's interesting. And I'm sitting here and I'm like thinking to myself, wow, I sound like such a bitch complaining. Sorry if that's like an unoffensive word. I feel like some people get offended by that word, like such a baby or a whiner complaining. But really, I'm just more curious than anything, because I don't ever look at that as like, oh, boo hoo, no one's watching my live videos, right? It's like, I look at it as like, all right, like we need to do something different. Like, how are we going to change it up? And that's really how I look at it. So I'm curious about you guys. Maybe you're not getting the notifications. Maybe my live videos suck. And man, if you're like, Hector, these live videos are terrible. You ramble way too much. You're awful. You're ugly. That panda hat is stupid. I don't know. Like I'm fair game for open criticism, because I'm genuinely curious what has changed over the last several days. Because I'm always trying to pay attention to the algorithm, pay attention, this is a learning process. All right, so let's go next. Okay, so we got the qualifying, we got marketing, we got the decision making. What else do we need to find out? Okay, the next thing that we need to find out is when they want to start, right? Is like when they're looking to start. And I'll tell you, this is super powerful, especially if you're pitching, higher ticket stuff, right? So you can define whatever higher ticket stuff is, that you can decide whatever that number is. But if you're pitching something where people are going to be spending thousands of dollars with you, you want to make sure that that is not only a financial commitment, but that's like an emotional, that's a mental commitment. Like there's a ton of commitments that are involved with that. So you want to make sure that you kind of get that out in the open, right? So I always like the question is like, hey, by the way, you don't have to commit to anything right now. If you don't like it, you can totally tell us to go to hell. We have no problem. Like I literally, on the last client that we signed, I was like, hey, by the way, no worries, you're not going to hurt our feelings if you tell us that this is stupid and tell us to go to hell. But when do you want us, like, if you do like it, like, if you did like think that this was a good idea, when would you want to get going? Is this something that you'd want to do now? Or would you want to, would we want to come back to the conversation later? And I had that conversation with her because I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page, right? I don't want to get all excited, all jazzed up, put all this stuff together, spend 45 minutes, an hour writing a proposal, going through all this, through this effort and time, only to figure out, well, yeah, this is awesome. I think I want to do this at the beginning of 2019. It's like, what? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And it's kind of frustrating, right? So you want to figure out and get that figured out then in person. That's huge. So let's see. Jodine says, here. Jodine, I love you so much. You always hop on these lives. I don't know. Maybe you are crazy for being able to hang around. So, Dill, what I would say is that when it comes to SMS marketing, what's really, really interesting is I think that SMS is the introduction. So let's talk about this because this is actually something, I'm glad you brought that up. So let's see if I can go in here, and we actually have a system that does, text message marketing. And what's great about it is that it is a really, really efficient way to start the conversation. Okay. That's the biggest thing that I want to share with you, is that it is the most efficient way to start the conversation. So I'm going to go in here, and you can find your leads however you want, your text message leads however you want. You can get them, however you want. However, with businesses, what's awesome is that there are great places to get access right through things like Google Maps or Yelp or Facebook pages, things like that. So I'm going to do Chicago, and I'm going to do in here, I want to go boom, and I'm going to do personal trainers. And because I'm going to add keyword, I'm going to do personal trainer. And then that's what I'm going to do. And then email message group. So we have some different tools that you can use here. But essentially what I want to do is I want to send to Zapier, and I'm going to search them. Okay. So this is going to go ahead, and this is going to create some, it's going to go out there and it's going to find some stuff. It's going to find all the phone numbers of the personal trainers in Chicago. So what I would share with you here is, right, this first aspect, right, when it comes to outreach, this qualifying is really just a conversation, right? That's the biggest thing, is that it is a conversation, right? So don't worry about pitching yet. You really want to have a conversation, build a relationship before anything. And then here is actually, after you qualify them, you can get them to a sales pitch, right? You can get them to a sales pitch. Now, Adele, to answer your question with SMS marketing, okay, you've obviously got to find a way to, to get these numbers. One thing that we did with real estate agents is we would go in, and you can literally type in, I can go on here and I can go on Zillow, right? I can go to Zillow.com. And because real estate agents are people similar to personal trainers, which is why I did personal trainers, are people who run their business out of their cell phone. Okay, there are lots of people who run their business out of their cell phone. And so if I go in here in Agent Finder, I can go in and I can look up, right? I can go in here and I can put in Chicago, Illinois, and I can go in here and I can search that. Now, couple of things, all right? Obviously, this is what we're talking about in finding these. So Sam Schaefer, okay, I can click on here, and he has a number, but usually those are like Zillow specific numbers. So what I want to do is I want to go on his website, or I want to go on his Facebook, and I can do this, and notice that these numbers are oftentimes different. It's really interesting. I don't really understand why they do it like that. But you'll notice 773-297-9792, when his phone over here says 773. So I don't want to text this number. I want to text this number because this is his cell phone right here. This is his cell. So I want to text that. And he's actually the managing broker and the owner. If I go over here, Sam Schaffer. Here is his, so here's his personal profile, right? Here's his personal profile. So guys, when people think, well, like, oh my goodness, all of your data and stuff, like look at all this stuff that I can get right from here. It looks like Chip Rob. I don't know. So all this stuff, so basically I've got his info though. I've got his cell phone number right there, and I can text him if I wanted to. So I can go to something like RoboContact, right? And if I go, I don't have any of those. I don't have a real estate one, so I won't focus on that. But let's hop back here, and I've got my personal training one, okay? So I've got all that. I got Right Fit personal training, Transform personal training, Michael Moody Fitness. I've got all these, and I've got my phone numbers, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the CSV. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here, and I'm going to create a new list. So I'm going to create a new list, and this is going to be of financial advisors, or excuse me, not of financial advisors, of personal trainers, okay, in Chicago. So let's do list name, personal trainer, Chicago. Now, the reason that I do Chicago is because our system actually allows you to buy numbers for different areas, right? And so we actually have a Chicago number. So I'm going to go in here in personal trainer, and I'm going to click edit. Oops, that's not what I want. I want to click view. Okay, and then I'm going to upload what I just downloaded, okay, into right in here. And so I've got my personal trainers. All right, they're going to validate it on their own, store and import. Okay, great. Now, what's beautiful about this is that it's going to, let's click that. We have permission, because the difference is that with a lot of laws and things like that, a lot of people have, let's see, I think it's working. Let's see if it's working. All right, so it's in there, okay? So it's in there, boom, boom, boom. Let's go in here. So the thing with laws is that with businesses, it's very, very difficult to hold someone to the spam law, the Can Spam Act, if they're a business, right? If they're an individual, totally different ballgame, okay? But if they're a business, there's no real, do your own legal stuff, okay? I'm no lawyer. However, I always ask, I always thought about, what's kind of the ramifications of this? If there is somewhere on their website right here that says that you can't contact them through this information, then you can't contact them. But literally, when you click contact us, it gives you that information. It's so contact info right there, right? So that's why it's important to kind of understand that with B2B sales, it's kind of a different ballgame. All right, so let's go over here. Now, what I can do is I can find out which ones are my valid mobile. Okay, I'm going to get my mobile ones. And Adele, to cut into your point here, now what I can do is, let's see, I've got 39 mobile numbers. Okay, I've got 39 mobile numbers. So I'm going to branch this out a little bit. Now, what our system lets you do is now we can send them a little text, right, from our number. We can select the so we're going to create an SMS. We can say, hi, is this, and then what I'm just going to put is I'm going to put the company name in there just to remember to start the conversation, right? That's all I'm trying to do, because I don't want to spend my time right? I don't want to spend my time actually going through it. So now notice we actually have, this is going to run through Twilio. So the cost is going to be about 82 cents to send out all these messages. So I'm going to hit send. Okay. So now what it's going to do is it's going to go through and it's sending all of these actual messages here, right? So it's going out there and it's sending all of that stuff. Now, what's beautiful is that I can go through and I can track all these. I can see all of the information. I can go through and respond to all of them. It actually brings all of that information right back in here. So if I'm going to go in here to number management and to give you some more kind of, options here, what's great about it is it says, well, what we did is we made this phone number not respond to anything. Okay, we made this phone number not respond to anything, but what it's actually going to do is it's going to text Dan. It's going to text Dan, my partner, and let him know that someone texted us back so that he can go in here. Now, it's also going to allow us to receive calls, and you'll notice that it's going to, if they call, it's going to forward to Dan's stuff. So I'm going to actually, I guess I should let Dan know that he might get some messages here. So I'm going to let Dan know you might get some messages from text in bulk. Their personal trainers. All right. So it's actually forwarding right to him. Now, I could also upload a message, so if they call, I could record it, but I've got all these different ways that I can do it. Or if they call in, I can actually create like a 1-800 kind of response, which is nice, right? So all of these things make it really easy to be able to respond, okay? Let's go in here. I want to go into personal trainer. Let's go back to my list, okay? Now, what's great about all of this is that I can go in and I can see, so if I'm going to go in, I'm going to sort back by my messages. I can go in and I can see how many times I messaged these people, and I can click them and it also pull up all their information as well, right? So if they text back, I'll actually be able to respond right in here if I want to as well. So this is a way that you can now take information, and right here we use this, we got all these from RoboContact. We have the phone numbers too. So if we want to like cold call all the business lines, we could call them, or if we want to text them, we just did that too. So these right here are two of the softwares that you can use in the agency accelerator, and it's $1, right? It's literally $1 to be able to get access to all of them. So if you want to get access to them, you guys can just drop an emoji and I will get you info. And so look in here, I can respond to all of these messages right here. So it says, huh? Right? So let's see what happened here. So right here, it says, this is D'Angela. It says, okay, so check this out. It says, this D'Angela. So personal training by D. Okay, so right here, so I can go in and she responded. All right, so check this out. So I said, hi, is this? And then it should, hopefully I responded with the company name. I think I put it in there. But you can fill in these things, right? You can put in their first name, their last name, the company name, the website. You can put in all of that information, okay? So let's check this right here, and let's take a look at her. Okay, personal training by D. We'll go in here, follow on Facebook. She doesn't have a pixel, so I can see that right there. She says, contact me to set up a consultation, go over available packages. Each month I offer a different special. So let's go back and I'll say, hey, D'Angela. I'm going to be Dan because he's the one that's going to be. We actually help personal trainers generate. Sorry if you guys hear that construction out here, by the way. I'm so sorry. We help personal trainers generate more clients through social media. Let's see. Now, we help what can I say? We help personal trainers generate more clients through social media. Here we go. We noticed you didn't have a Facebook pixel on your site? Are you we noticed that you didn't have a Facebook pixel on your site. We could install it for free for you so you don't lose out on that money. I don't know. Let's just try it. We install them for free so you don't lose out on that money. We're literally going to install a pixel. How hard is that? And let me just tidy this. We noticed you didn't have a Facebook pixel on your site and wanted to offer a free installation so you don't miss out on any of those visitors. How about that? I don't know. Freaking A. Let's just send it. I don't know. What now? I can go in here and I can say hi. Hey, Dan the man. Oh, that's from a while ago. So the April 15th, is that today? So let's see. Okay, cool. Let's see what else is here. Chicago Fit Performance. Now I'm going through and I'm like super personalizing these things. What's great about this software, about text in bulk, is that you can actually create like messages. So when they say, hi, who is this? Or hi, question mark, or whatever it is, you can have it just that automatically send back to them as well. So let's see what this one is. Chicago Fit Performance, 14-day trial for $59, no pixel. Okay, cool. All right, so let's say we, hey, hello, we actually help fitness gyms get, let's say we wanted, let's put this a little better. I stumbled on your website and noticed it didn't have a Facebook pixel on it. You might be losing members from not having it, and I wanted to offer to install it for free. You might be losing, let's see, losing, you could get more members on your $59 special if you had, let's say with it, and I wanted to offer to install it for free. Yeah, why not? Let's make them personalized, right? Why not? All right. So this right here is ways that you can do this, and I'm just starting conversations, right? That's all I'm doing is starting conversations. So my phone died. I don't know if anybody's still here. It's 12:04, so I went longer than I had anticipated. If you guys want access to this software and to RoboContact, you can get both of them for a week for $1. It's part of our agency accelerator, and you can do this, and you can go out and get a client for in a week, and it's literally $1. And there's no commitments. Hell, if you even want your dollar back, we'll give it to you. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I love you. I'll see you later. So there was a question on there that said, how do you know if there isn't a pixel? So what I do is I installed the pixel helper on here, and you'll notice right here on the pixel helper, there's a Facebook pixel helper. It says no pixels found right here. And so this is just a Chrome plugin that will tell you if there is a pixel on the website. So that's actually how I do it. So yep, Tom is right. Tom's totally right. I like Adil's aspect, right? Hey, are you taking on more clients? Boom, Adil, perfect, right? Perfect. So I love it. So Adil, hopefully that helps a little bit. The rest of you guys, if you guys want to get in on the $1 agency accelerator, you get 5 softwares, okay? 2 of them I showed you today for 7 days. Drop an emoji and I'll get that info to you. The rest of you guys, like Ina said, enjoy your Sunday if you guys are chilling. And if y'all are hustling, keep hustling and keep grinding, yo. See you later. Peace. I do have hair. See?